Hi there, welcome to this installment of Afro Perspectives. I am here to share with you developments in Zimbabwe and the wider African continent. I am discussing the fallout from President Emmerson Mnangagwa's extravagant birthday celebrations and the rumor of an impending coup plot in Zimbabwe itself. That is what I'm going to focus on. But before we delve into today's discussion, please take your time to subscribe to our channel, and if you are happy with the content we are bringing to you, please give us some likes. We are only a small channel and we can only provide material of this kind with your support. This past week, it seems like an eternity considering the events packed in just a space of 7 days. It started off with Emmerson Mnangagwa celebrating his 82nd birthday at the Great Zimbabwe monuments. He deliberately chose the Zimbabwe ruins for symbolic reasons. He just did not stop there. He renamed the 15th of September Munhumutapa Day and has claimed that from next year onwards Zimbabweans will celebrate his birthday as Munhumutapa Day. Emmerson Mnangagwa is not just celebrating his birthday, he is planting into people's heads this idea that he is a descendant of the ancient Munhumutapa kingdom. He is deliberately creating this myth that he is of royal stock and by that logic he is entitled to rule as a monarchy. Of course, a king does not abide by term limits. A king is not bound by a constitution. A king is not bound by what his fellow compatriots think about how he is ruling the country. That's the standard by which Emmerson Mnangagwa wants to rule Zimbabwe. Those who have access to State House say Mnangagwa is now insisting on being called by the sobriquet Munhumutapa, that is the nickname Munhumutapa. There is nothing new to this. It happens once a leader gets drunk on the trappings of power. Robert Mugabe called himself Gushungo Karigamombe, but that did not stop Chiwenga and his coup generals humiliating him in November 2017. Emmerson Mnangagwa's birthday celebrations at the Great Zimbabwe monuments came with a hefty price tag, $2 million. Yes, you heard me right. That is 2 million in hard currency. Zimbabwe, it has to be remembered, is going through one of the worst droughts in living memory, and most people in the rural countryside cannot even afford a single meal in a day and are close to starving. Imagine how many bags of maize meal you can get for $2 million. This regime has no shame. Kushaya ganda kumeso, as we say in Shona. It's humiliating when the country asks for food aid from Rwanda when the president at the same time is busy throwing extravagant birthday bashes for the whole world to see. Yes, they are enjoying the wealth of the country. As we say in Shona. The ZANU-PF regime is heartless, and in a space of a mere 8 hours, they threw away a cool $2 million, while hospitals have no basic drugs such as paracetamol, a simple painkiller. And then we have primary school kids who are skipping school because they cannot afford to pay the school fees. So this is where it gets interesting. In an ordinary country, there is nothing special about a sitting president celebrating their own birthday. However, for dictators, everyone has to be reminded that the big man's date of birth is a special day. In Malawi, during the harsh dictatorship of Kamuzu Banda, every 14th of May was Kamuzu Day. Now in Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa has declared the 15th of September Munhumutapa Day. Emmerson Mnangagwa has his heroes as some of the most vilest dictators ever to walk the face of this earth, and that's what he emulates, that's what he aims to make as a standard for his rule in Zimbabwe. Everyone has to send birthday messages. Failing to do so is an insult to the president, and that can cost you your life, literally. Which brings us to Guthrie Munyuki and the Financial Gazette. Mnyuki's paper sent a birthday message, but there was a small error during the print run. An apprentice at the paper inadvertently inserted the words, "May his soul rest in eternal peace." Mnyuki swiftly issued an apology, but that was not enough. Those who get angry on behalf of the president accused Mnyuki and his paper of treason. Masked men claiming to be from the law and order section of the police raided Mnyuki's place of residence in the Westgate suburb of Harare at 4 in the morning. What saved Mnyuki was coincidence and pure luck. He was not there at home, but they found his wife and kids asleep and they confiscated mobile phones. But what has to be asked is insulting the head of state a crime? Especially if the so-called insult is a simple mistake, an innocuous mistake? Yes, in repressive regimes such as what we now have in Zimbabwe, a crime does not necessarily have to be written on the statute books. All that is needed is the police to pick you up from wherever they find you, and then the charges will follow. That is exactly what happened to Guthrie Mnyuki. It must have been a terrifying experience standing before the big man himself groveling for a misprint in a newspaper. But why was a misprint in a newspaper such a big issue to start with? It's to do with ZANU-PF factional fights. On the 15th of September, Emmerson Mnangagwa was supposed to be on the helicopter which crashed after takeoff in Masvingo. The rest in eternal peace gaffe was interpreted as a death wish on the president, and poor Guthrie Mnyuki was now caught in ZANU-PF factional fights. Chiwenga's name came up, and now it's no longer a simple case of issuing an apology. That would have been enough, but given how high the political temperature is in ZANU-PF, everything now has to be interpreted in terms of ZANU-PF factional fights. That birthday message came from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. That is where the generals work. That is where members of the Coast Lake faction, Constantino Chiwenga's loyal followers, that is all where they work. So by implication, Guthrie Mnyuki is now being accused of doing the general's dirty work, secretly wishing the big man's death. Of course, it's all an innocuous mistake like I've said above. Everyone can see that, but then Zimbabwe is not your normal place where common sense prevails. Everything is now dictated by what the generals are suspected to be plotting behind the scenes. Imagine Emmerson Mnangagwa, a president who has never missed an opportunity to hop on a plane and rub shoulders with the mighty and the powerful. On the 22nd of September, there is the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Emmerson Mnangagwa was supposed to be there in New York and to present a speech. He has cancelled that trip. His spokesman, Ndawaningi Mangwana, blamed a congested program. Instead, Frederick Shawa is now going to attend the session in New York and present the address to the UN session on Mnangagwa's behalf. The real reason are rumors of an impending coup. In a scene reminiscent of what transpired just before the November 2017 coup, Chiwenga, while speaking in Victoria Falls this past Friday, stated that corruption was now a security threat to the country. This would normally not amount to anything much if it had come from an ordinary civilian politician. But Chiwenga is the second center of power in Zimbabwe, and what he says has to be interpreted in terms of coded messages. Pronouncements like these cannot just be taken lightly coming from a former general. Mnangagwa fears that Chiwenga and his Coast Lake faction can strike at any moment. For a president who is not even inside the country, executing a coup is a simple thing. You just deny their plane entry into Zimbabwean airspace on their way back from wherever it is they have gone to. That is what happened in 2015 to Burundi's president Pierre Nkurunziza, when his plane was denied entry into the country. He was on a conference in Tanzania, and then on his return, his plane was denied entry into Burundi airspace. So this is what Emmerson Mnangagwa fears. He fears the generals carrying out a coup Pierre Nkurunziza style. So Emmerson Mnangagwa at this point in time is sleeping with one eye open, watching out for the generals intent on toppling him. Thank you for tuning in. If you think I have missed out on anything in terms of what happened this past week, please drop your comments below and let me know what you think of the issues discussed in this post. Thank you. Bye.